Technically speaking, it haven't quite reached the solstice yet. The sun is still at 29 degrees of Sagittarius, but it will be happening later today. And as you know, I'm in Malaysia, so right now it's the 21st of December, which is typically when the solstice is celebrated anyway. Um, Technically speaking, we are in the northern hemisphere. So for us, even though we don't have the cycle of 4 seasons, it's still the winter solstice. And I have always um, instinctively felt the alignment with the celebration of Yule and various other points of the year as per the northern hemisphere to begin with. Anyway, so, and as some of you would know, those of you who have been following international news, Malaysia has just been hit with its worst floods in at least 60 years. And I noticed that something was going on when we had something like 2 days of near continuous rain. There was no information given. But just because the government has a way of sending people lots of messages, especially with regards to the pandemic, one would expect them to have used that facility, but they didn't. And so it almost came like a shock to people that, it's been such a huge deal. There's probably billions of ringgits that have been lost in terms of flood damage. And 22,000 people had to be evacuated, actually, in the same state that I am in. Me and Bro and the girls are fine. We are totally okay. But it was very, very close by, to be honest. And as that was happening, I could just feel something was off. Something was off. So, if you're interested, you can go and look at at the images of what's happened. And of course, floods like this happen in places all over the world every year. But I would feel it amiss if I did not at least acknowledge it as part of this greeting. So it's certainly come at a time of very, very intense. You can call it a purging, you can call it a filling, you can call it whatever you like, but at least here, it's certainly come at a time of very, very intense changes. And I wasn't surprised at all to see it. In my personal life, I've also been trying to push through and find different paths and different roads. And I could feel the more I was doing what I needed to do, I could feel such a big resistance to it. And then these floods happened, and that resistance seems to have receded. But recovery efforts are underway. But as I said, we are safe. For those of you who are worried, we are safe from the floods at the very least. So, getting to the message of today, which is, of course, the message of the solstice. Well, the solstice is a very important time. In terms of the Western tropical calendar, it's when the sun reaches the winter solstice for the Northern Hemisphere. It's when the sun reaches Capricorn. And as you know, Cappies will be like, yes, Cappy power. And of course, me being one of them, we're going to be seeing another turning of the wheel. And in fact, I would say till early March next year, we're going to be seeing Capricorn, Capricorn, Capricorn all over the place. We have a Venus retrograde in Capricorn that's already underway. We're going to be seeing eventually Mars entering Capricorn and eventually a partial Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. We are just going to be building, building, building. So, the energy that is surrounding this particular solstice, I would say, is going to carry us through the first 3 months of the next year. So it's a very powerful energy that asks us to continue to grow, continue to develop, and to continue to move through things, even if you find obstacles along the way, because Saturn, which is, of course, the planet associated with Capricorn, and thus the winter solstice for the Northern Hemisphere, is very much that organic growth. And it is also about learning to maintain perseverance in the face of such obstacles. And I would say that this year very much so has tested that again and again and again. But in terms of the astrology of things, I would say the solstice is a very powerful time to take stock. It's a very powerful time you know, to really be aware of what is it that we are creating at this time in our personal lives, in our public lives. I've had a lot of soul searching happen because, as you know, life has really dramatically changed for me in the past few years. I've been contacting people who used to know me about 15 years ago, and I've been looking at, okay, where's my life come since then? Would I be seen as a success or a failure? Am I doing work that I find is meaningful? Am I finding the material experience of life that I want? These kinds of questions have been circling around, and I can honestly say I don't know about external standards, but I'm doing what I came to do. That is honestly the best that I can say at this time. So, things physically speaking, psychologically speaking, in terms of life, things are not good. But in terms of spirit, and in terms of finding a way through, and in terms of making those changes that are needed, I would say that is where some real progress has been made. And I hope that for myself and for others, that we can all use the energy of Capricorn, what is starting at, just as the solstice begins here at the least. You're probably going to be feeling the energy building for those of you in the Western Hemisphere of rather the Western side of the globe. You're going to be feeling that build more so. So right now we're starting to see those stirrings, and we're going to be carrying that energy forwards for the next few months. But that's the first part of the solstice that I wanted to talk about. As you know, my birthday is coming up on the 23rd. Because of the floods, things that I had ordered have been delayed, but that's a very small cost compared to what others have lost at this time. But so I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do? I'm turning 35. What am I going to do? And I honestly sat with it. I went, I'll probably pray, probably talk to some friends, probably drink my favorite beer, which is Guinness. So if you want, you can join, raise a toast to me if you want on the 23rd, wherever you are, with a Guinness or whatever you like. Um, and well, even then, I can't drink too much. So it's more like a pint. And let's see, and I was planning to go and do some art. So what I did was I arranged, somehow it just fell into my lap. An artist wanted a session with me, and I said, okay, well, can we do something? Can you teach me how to do something? And she said, sure. So I've got that happening on my birthday. And then, of course, we've got, and of course, on that day, the 23rd, we see the North Node and South Node shift. The mean calculation of the node, as in the average calculation of the node, they are shifting into Taurus Scorpio. So that's going to herald yet another change. I will be doing a video on an overview of 2022, but what I can tell you in a nutshell is that it is all about the Taurus Scorpio. All of the eclipses are in Taurus Scorpio. All of our major life lessons is going to be in how we create worth and value, and how we understand fulfillment and abundance in our lives, and how we continue to build this organically and slowly in a way that counts. And I would say, I remember a video that I shared in the very, very start of the year. This is a gap year. This is a gap year. A lot has happened in this year, but this is a gap year because we are really going to be, the phrase put your money where your mouth is. And it's going to be a phrase, it's going to be a time where we are being asked to really act upon all of the things we've been saying, all of the things we've been doing, all of the things we've been believing. It's easy to say things, but it's much harder to actually do them. Though the saying can actually open ourselves up spiritually, emotionally, psychologically to the doing. So it's important, but it's certainly not the end all be all of the process. So all of the stuff that we've been talking about, it's going to be time to make things. Whether it's a business, whether it's a farm, whether it's art, whether it's I don't know, whether it's a soup kitchen to help people, whatever it is you want to create. Next year is going to be all about that creation. And there's going to be so many opportunities and prospects for people to do truly wonderful things in the world. And at the same time, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to go backwards. The forwards backwards metric that I am using is, are you aligned with the path that actually resonates with the heart and the new occult law, or are you not? Are you working from your ego? Are you working for your own adulation? Are you working for your own psychological desire for approval? Or are you actually doing something that is aligned to something that is bigger than what you understand as your conscious self? So, people who are very much in the I, me, my are going to suffer terribly next year, whether or not they know they're suffering. Some of them are going to make a shit ton of money, but spiritually, they're going to go into spaces that I don't know, you're going to need like a divine intervention to pull them out of directly. And some other people are going to be building things which maybe are not going to be as flashy, and maybe they are not going to be as easy, and maybe they're not going to be as on the surface successful, rewarding, da 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 da. But also going to be seeing people coming together to do and create things. I mean, I was having a discussion with someone the other day, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying this, but she wanted to know, what do I do on my path? A lot of people come to me because they read about religion and spirituality and they want to put it into practice, but they don't know how. And I go, okay, well, for some people, I'll be like, please drop everything, go to the forest because that is your road. And they're like, yes, I knew it. And for some other people, I'm going to be like, go start a business or go start a nonprofit. Because people forget that one of the most important things that we can do is to help those who perhaps on the surface do not have as much as we do. So I was telling this to someone. I said, look, if you start a nonprofit and if you decide to go and build a well in Africa or wherever a well is needed, is that not a spiritual act? And she goes, yes. Well, there you go. So, don't limit yourself with thinking that you can only create a spiritual change if you pray or if you meditate. Sometimes the spiritual change that needs to happen is something that absolutely requires a material step, a material path or process that needs to happen in the world. So, when people go, there's a dichotomy of matter and spirit, I say, no, there's not. There's simply a block in perception. One is an expression of the other. There is no matter on this planet that exists without some spiritual component. Even the worst of the excesses of capitalism and patriarchy have their spiritual components. But just remember, spirit doesn't always mean God or deity or goddess or divinity. Spirit can also mean the other side. Whatever you do comes from a place of energy. And next year is going to be all about understanding the relationship between the two. A lot of us are going to find a lot more revelations when we just listen to ourselves, which is why, it's like, for me, ultimately, the answers are within anyway. But when we talk about finding the answers within, a lot of people think, oh, no, it's meditation, it's visualization, it's sitting somewhere in silence. And yes, that's one part of it, absolutely. But sometimes it's also about remembering and honoring and listening to the physical form that we are in, the physical body, because it carries within itself so much knowledge. I mean, this is why I like the Chinese system, because when I do research on traditional Chinese medicine, I'm trying to find the roots of the tradition that went, that existed in a time where it was less about the medicalization process and a lot more about the holistic synergy of things. And it is the kind of energy which, or rather, the kind of system which very clearly shows you how each meridian actually corresponds to what we collectively have been taught is some rarefied esoteric process that's out there. And it's not out there, it's on you, it's in you. Your body is an expression of that process. So next year is going to be a very important time to also focus on that very direct organic relationship, but not from a space of the mind, not from a space of the mind, but from a space that is far more oriented with the physical experience of the body itself. I was curious about this, so I started looking at something called the Neuro Resilience Toolkit. I know there are many tools, many teachers out there, but when I look at someone's energy, whether or not I want to, I end up seeing everything about them. That's why I don't listen to a lot of people, because I don't need to deal with other people's problems. I already do that for a living. So when I actually choose a teacher, when I choose something, it's someone who automatically tends to be someone who more or less is doing their work, is not leaking energy all over the place like a faucet, unless that is part of their teaching, and is someone that I can go, okay, good, you've got your stuff down, show me what I need to learn. So I've been looking at these different as at some teachers, and I have a lovely friend that I discuss all of this with, and I've been trying different modalities because I'm someone who, I joke about it, but it's probably true. In my previous lifetime, I was probably some kind of Taoist master because I pick up TCM like anything. And my brother's like, people don't learn it this way. I said, I just know it. Sometimes I'll know when a point is without actually having read it, and I'll go look it up and I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's what it felt like. So I know through this year, I know I haven't really been very open about all of the shit that has happened to me. I've just given little hints here and there. But it's been very physically trying, financially, personally challenging. And one of the things that I developed for myself is just looking into the more esoteric aspects of TCM and finding a way to actually shift the body, the psychic energy through different meridian points in the body. And you won't find that in most undergraduate level TCM classes, but I'm trying to find the place within myself where I feel like I would be the right person to share that information. But I do know that a lot of TCM people are drawn to me for this reason because they know that I know and I don't that they don't. And at general level, I would say also look into Qigong, Tai Chi, any kind of bodily practice. It could even just be dancing. It could be running around in circles. It could be Sufi dancing. It could be belly dancing. It could be pole dancing. Whatever kind of movement you need to do, go and do it. There's also something called for people who are in a very bad physical state. There's also a system which I think focuses on pendulation. That's basically where you kind of learn how to regain movement in your body by kind of flexing and arching your back like a cat, but very, very slowly, because they are the masters of grace and poison movement, and I can attest to that. I always feel inspired when I see my baby jumping up into high places that I deliberately put things to avoid her jumping to, but I always feel inspired that way. Other things that we're going to be seeing is certainly a deeper interest in vegetation, organic cycles, agriculture as a whole. And again, it's all about the community. It's all about doing things in ways that respect the land and respect the people that were already there. It's about doing things in ways that empower those who have been denied access to resources or who have been kind of cut out of the distribution process by a middle being that wants most of the profit. So that's another big theme that's going to be coming up throughout the next year. I mean, one of the reasons why I'm kind of already talking about 2022 is that, of course, on the 24th, one day after my birthday, one day after the mean node shifts sign, we are going to be seeing the Saturn Uranus square. And I am hoping it is going to be a huge and powerful lifting and ending of many, many, many old cycles, cycles that have oppressed, cycles that have locked, cycles that have, bound people into an unhealthy sense of restriction. It's like I love Saturn. Saturn is my favorite planet. I know that if I need an answer, it will come when Saturn is doing something significant, and I just see it. It's like the biggest life moments I have had. I have known Saturn was there. Jupiter, I guess like when I see Jupiter in the sky, I be like, "Yo, buddy, hi, hi." But it's always Saturn that I go back to. And there are certain types of challenges that help us grow. There are certain pressures that help us build ourselves and resilience. And then it kind of goes past the point where rather than Saturn, this is actually more Pluto shit. This is less about you learning and more about you surrendering. But that's a different issue. But yeah, yeah. I mean, in terms of celebrations, like I said, it doesn't feel good to be going about celebrating too lavishly when the country is recovering from the worst floods that it's had in 60 years. Not that I'm a big lavish celebrator. I know some of you have sent me presents for my birthday. One of you sent me teas to celebrate me coming out as bisexual. I actually, looking at it, it's probably pansexual, but let's just stick with bi for now. And so I had some lovely, lovely teas sent to me from Taiwan, which was wonderful. I am going to be doing some art, as I said, so hopefully I can also find my way to making presents. I'm going to be doing a wreath because we have two gigantic trees that spout. Basically, they're not plants anymore. They're not like bushes. They're like trees that sprouted out over the past year. A big noni tree and an acacia tree. And interestingly, I was using this app that I use to identify flora and fauna because I am curious about things. And it turns out that somehow a Tasmanian blackwood tree, Acacia melanosinol, I believe, has somehow managed to find itself into the garden. And in the fact that it's in Tasmania, which, if you recall, recently I was feeling hope because this very dear little friend of mine a Tasmanian cat had survived in the outback for more than a month by herself. I was very happy that maybe, maybe there was another Tasmania tree in Acacia that sheltered my little friend when she was lost or on her big journey, whatever she was doing. So, we're going to be stringing some LED lights, solar LED lights on the acacia, and we've got a teeny tiny tree, though the decorations might be delayed. Got some cheaper stuff, but might be delayed because of the floods. And we've got some plans for dinner. And yeah, keeping it low key as we do, but we do have hats for the girls. We have Christmas hats, and we will be doing a live, and you'll be seeing them in their hats. Um, I hope they look very dignified and try not to kill each other on screen, but we will see. But some news of celebration coming up. We all need to celebrate the fact that we have survived this year, and there's just so much to do. I always like this time of year because it's a time where I think all of us just need to recharge, fill our batteries with things that matter, whether it's good food, friends, company, family, real family. I think this is the time of the year where we all just need to top ourselves up a little bit. And as a super treat, I never said this, so there's no way you would know it. My favoritist, favorite thing of this time of year is eggnog. And you cannot get eggnog in Malaysia unless you really get it in advance. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to make it. So that is what we're going to be doing this season. Um, Making eggnog. Probably not with the rum, but that should be fun. That should be fun. And I'm going to also be making a wreath out of some of the acacia branches that I have. I looked it up, it's non toxic. So, doing Yule stuff, doing Yule stuff. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Went in deep and then come back to the surface. Let's do a couple of hellos to see people here. Hello, Joyous Day. Hello, Mackie. Hello, Michi. I'll reply to your email soon. Hello, Anna. Hello, Yeye 555. Blessings and greetings from Texas. Right back at you. Hello, Genovate. Am I saying that right? Good to see you too. Hi, Sheena. Hello, 305 Capricorn, getting ready for birthday month. Hello, Rivakari. Hello, N Black. Send my love to the fam. Hi, Sharon. Hello, Magneto. Always love to see that name. Hello, Adrienne. Hello, Christine. Hello, Brasnek. Hi, Sarah. Extremely exhausted since before the full moon. Watch the energy. See what comes. See what comes. Suki says, we alive. Yes, we are, Suki. Angelo sends thumbs up. Yep. Teresina says Qigong is the answer. I'm serious. So now I have like apparently a small Asian genderqueer community that I didn't even know was following me. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of TCM people there, which is going to be fun. Sarah said, "Oh, thank you, thank you. I do like yellow. I wear it once in a while, but I do like yellow. Thank you." Trusat says greetings. Adar says good morning. Good morning. Sheena says it's good to know that their rough plans for 2022 are in alignment, all about the co-creative relationships, the land, and healing work. Good job. We felt which sends cigarette, something, I think a bat, and a drink. Thumbs up. Ashley sounds lovely. Bianca says, if your birthday is on the nodal switch, what should you do? Eh, I don't know. I mean, I'm just going with what I feel is right. For me, I'm a very simple person. I like my family. I like praying. I like art. I like music. And I like nice food when I know the food is actually nice. And I like helping people. So I decided to go do that stuff for my birthday. On your birthday, you should do what you want to do. That's my answer. Because, it's like we should be celebrating ourselves every day, but I think it's good that we celebrate a little extra on a particular day. So that's what my advice to you on that would be. You says hello, hello. Sheena says we had an eggnog sampling, but haven't made it in years. Sounds awesome. I will let you know how the eggnog goes. Stuffing stockings for the kids currently. Fair enough. Dawn says hi Dawn. You want to go back to the beginning for the info stuff? We're just doing catch ups now. Shelly says hello. Bianca says Taurus in my 11th house, not node is in Taurus. Any implications? Lots. You should book a session and find out, sweetie. Come to Mama says Drea, Louisiana. Raymond L says hello, hello, hi, hi. Shirley says evening, everyone. Batwoman says hello. Trusette says greetings from Victor and Cece. You says I feel so lost. I don't know what's happening, lol. What's going on? Don't worry. If you knew what was happening, you would either be God or some other extended being. It is perfectly normal to not know what the shit is going on. Trust me, nobody knows what's going on at the fullest level of things. The best thing that I can tell you, and this is where astrology is like a weather report, it's like it'll tell you basic things. Much like these huge floods, the meteorological system told, like they posted, they said, hey, they're going with something's going to be happening, but the government didn't pay attention, so nobody knew. So it's like astrology. Astrology can say, hey, there's going to be a lot of heavy rain today. You better carry an umbrella and try not to do anything too silly. In that sense, astrology just gives you a general forecast. But it's not the end all be all. It's not going to tell you the nuances of what's happening in the universe. It just gives you a sense of this is a good time to do this. This is not a good time to do this. And just take it as that. So, what is going on? You know what? Nobody knows, and that is okay. So, and I usually joke with my brother, I'm like, nobody needs to know. And he goes, no, we all need to know. And I go, no. Just because there's so much happening astrally and psychically that if you sit and thought about it every day, you probably would not have much time for what most people call a conventional life. But I would say the most important thing to know is we are getting the opportunity to find the right people to go and do real things with, tangible things. You want to make music? Go. You want to have a collective farm? Go. You want to become a dressmaker? Go. You want to cook for people who don't have food? Go. You want to go become an angel investor? Go. The world is not going to change unless the people decide that the system that currently exists is too toxic and is too spiritually corrupt for it to continue existing. But burning everything down doesn't work either because you need an alternative. Otherwise, people are just going to recreate the same old system with different people on top. That's why when people go, patriarchy is terrible, I go, yeah, matriarchy sucks too. It's not the patri or the marquee, it's the archy that's the problem. It's the kind of energy that invites us to rethink structures of power in the way in which power is created and manifest. So, and that is not going to happen when some guy sitting somewhere has one idea that changes the world. That is going to happen when everyone sitting everywhere does their little bit, however that small thing is. No one is saying that you have to suddenly become a huge CEO of a huge company overnight. Maybe your contribution next year is to create a community garden or a library for your neighborhood kids. That is perfectly fine. That is a wonderful contribution. That is the opportunity that we are being given now. That is the opportunity that we have. Is it going to manifest? I don't know. The person could have the most beautiful chart in the world, and unless they actually do something about it, they will miss every opportunity that chart gives. A person can have the shittiest chart in the world. I have a chart that literally has tried to kill me several times over. But unless they actually do something about it, they will only manifest consequences that make them feel disempowered. And I'm not talking about manifestation as I think it's about actually going out there and doing things. I'm talking about the practical implementation of manifestation. So this is what's happening now. We're being given an opportunity, and it's only going to work if we use it. So next year is going to be all about that. Forget about the big picture, focus on what you can do. And what you can do is the change that you need to bring. What everyone else is doing is on them. Find the people who align with you and do what you can. That'll be my biggest advice. Um, let's see. Sky Blue says, hi, Dr. Sweetie. Sky, thank you so much. And thank you for checking in on me. Caitlin says, greetings, everyone. Always wonderful to catch you live. Thank you so much. Hello, Dusana. Blessed solstice to you too. Trusat says, how about we're going on and on? Until the sun explodes, yeah, we probably will. Or until someone decides to press a button on this planet, which I hope won't happen because there's a lot of good people and a lot of good beings here. V Stomfeld, which says, "Oh God, from a Reddit thread I follow, I took a poll and found 100% of the people in the tent were angry when it collapsed." Ah, funny. Sheena says the Archie is the problem. Yeah, it is. Batwoman says, "Yeah, I love the last year 23 report. Love them all, actually. Amazing guidance. Thank you. You are most welcome." For those of you who do want a little bit more detailed insight into what is going on, I recommend the Tier 23 program. It is also where I have and I do most of my spiritual work that I share with selected members of the public. So, if you're interested in that, you just type in Sky Priestess Tier 23. You will find the place to go to. But yeah, there's quite a few of you from the program also on this live here today. And, that's why I kind of talk a little bit more than I usually do about certain things. Karin says, "Hi, Dr. B. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello." V. Stormfeld, which says, "Sleeper Assassin Chart Breakfast Club." That's funny. Rosie says, "Hello, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Sending you lots of love." Sheena says, "Find the people that align with you and do what you can." That's exactly it. You are the best person who finds my mug worthy sayings. I was thinking maybe I should just start a t shirt business. So, it's like all of the stuff that you pick out from my words is like, okay, yes, I would wear that t shirt. You says, "Wow, I appreciate you. Such a privilege to discover you on YouTube." Thank you so much. I mean, I know I gave up a huge, huge following and a huge platform when I left Facebook, but I am really privileged from, in a good way, from the people who have found me here because I love YouTube. I love seeing the comments. I spend, like, when I'm doing my research or meditation or whatever I'm doing, I've got my YouTube on and I'm listening to things. I tend to listen to a lot of music. And right now I'm listening to electro swing, which is really cool. And, but what I like looking at most of all is the comments because you see there's so many nice people in the world. Like sometimes someone will say, "I had this terrible thing happen to me, da 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 da." And you'll see so many people. Of course, there'll be one or two assholes, but you'll see so many people jump into offer support. And in that sense, I find YouTube is a really nice way of finding that collective vibe. I'm still trying TikTok, which is still not. I'm trying, okay? I'm trying. I just can't do it. I just, no. But I'm just putting myself out there so people can find me, but I'm not really engaging in the way that particular platform is used. But but thank you so much. You, I appreciate it. Adar said it's a nice planet. It really is. It really is. Adrian says, "What does it mean when the Saturn is on your north node, Dr. B?" Saturn is on your north node. Ooh, it means you're going to make important life choices. And you need to really think about where you need to go, what you need to create, and whether it resonates with where your soul wants to be. If that's happening to you, it's a very important time. Shirley says it's a perfect titration of spiritual wisdom. Thank you. In case if you're wondering if T23 is for you, I appreciate it. Rosie Cutie says, "I'm a Cap too, Aries moon, fist bump." I am a Cap, Virgo moon, Cancer rising, which is why when people look at me, they're like, "Oh, so nurturing." But in session, I'm like, "I will still help you and nurture you, but give me the facts." Let's see. Sharon says, "Yes, t-shirts." Agreed. Hi there says, "Thoughts on anarchy. I wonder if the collective is capable of self-management." It's a much larger question than what I can answer. And I don't think this is the platform to be going into the details of it. But honestly, I like the system that, I mean, India has a very powerful infrastructure in terms of state governance, central governance, and local governance. I think that there's a difference between the state for me is something that exists to provide public services that each individual cannot provide for themselves. And in that sense, I do think that we're always going to need bodies that help us create collective goods that all of us require. For example, electricity and so on and so forth. Because it will take a lot more work for a single individual to be doing that and creating the tech, unless the tech itself is developed, to be doing that on an individual basis. In that sense, I think there's always going to be some form of a collective body, but I don't think it requires hierarchy. It's more a function. So, in that sense, I'd say there's definitely a scope for government, because when people start talking about anarchy, people mistake it for saying that, it's chaos and blah blah blah. But really it just means the end of hierarchy, which is not the same thing as the end of organization. So, yeah, I would say anarchy that actually can recognize that and realize that some level of group organization is going to be needed is probably the way to go. But again, the word archy is what people fixate on, and they extrapolate too far from it when, make, like I said, organization is not the same as hierarchy. It's not. A decentralized organization which has purely functional rules does not require that normative impact at all. But again, different question, different format. Sharon says Cappy Sun, Pisces Moon. Nice, nice. Dusana sends hearts. Rosie sends Cancer Rising. Excellent. Others says Cancer Rising. Gemini Sun. Sagittarius Moon. Oh, that makes so much sense now. Batwoman says Virgo Sun, Virgo Moon, Libra. Nice, nice. Rise. Oh, okay, rising. Cute. Wisdom Felwood says it doesn't feel like a nice planet right home right now, but I'm about to have to defect to another country to get away from my upbringing. Understood. Indigo ASMR says, just go here. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Berry, for informing us. Most welcome. Katie Cat West Sail, Sun in Sag, Moon in Gemini, Pisces rising. Fair enough. Wisdom Felwood says the trade unions and occult schools handle that back home. Okay. The Red Goddess Tarot says, greetings, hello. Raymond L says, Gemini Sun, Aquarius Moon, Leo Rising. Understood. Sharon says, thank you for that food and thought. Anarchy, you are welcome. You know my thoughts on sovereignty and why I don't like using that word. Sovereignty is another one. People are like, I'm sovereign, I'm sovereign. I'm like, I get it. I used to use the word as well. But when I really sat down and thought about it, it doesn't make sense for me because, again, it's power over. There's still that implicit hierarchy in the word. I usually use the word autonomy, to get away from that. But the words, each word is a spell. And you got to look at the etymology of that spell to see how your waves of thought are being shaped by the energy of that word. But, you know, R says, it does. I'd like that sense too. Book a session. Sheena says, Aries Sun. I think, yeah, Aries Sun, Aquarius Moon, Virgo Rising. Nice, nice. Hi there says, oh, okay. 100% yes is TYs for confirmation. Island Presser here, always thinking the deep thoughts, Lamau, triple Libra, Cancer Rising. Thank you for identifying yourself this time. Once she messaged me and I had no idea who it was. And then she went, oh, it's me. And I went, oh, okay. Karen says Taurus, Sun, Gemini Rising, Capricorn, Moon. Um, Ada says, Dr. V, I'm not sure if I've said it, but a massive thank you for just being here. This is fun. Awesome, awesome. Glad to do something. Glad to do something. I mean, I was like looking at people who I knew like 15 years ago, and all of them are like directors of this stuff, some think tank, non-profit, something like that. And it was definitely a path that I was I was about to go on that path, but something happened in my life 15 years ago. Long story short, I find myself here doing something completely different. And then I thought to myself, would I have rather gone down that road? You know, can I, can I honestly say I have made something of my life? And honestly, these are the kinds of moments, these are the kinds of things that actually work for me. So what if you have a title? So what if you have something that looks important? Most important is what you actually do for the beings on this planet. Humans, plants, animals, crystal beings, stars, whatever. Do what you can. If you can at least help one person find a better relationship in their lives with themselves, that is good. That is already an achievement, even if it's just one person. And you're already doing something. And as a cap, that was a hard reflection to have, but it's also a necessary one. Just because what I find is the way humanity has structured what is success, what is power, what is legitimacy, what is authority, the way humanity has structured these concepts are in themselves spells. And so people push themselves into certain institutional and organizational cultures so that they will continue to recreate what someone else has said success and worth and value is. This is the only reason why I think my PhD has any relevance now, which is to deconstruct the shit out of everything. But it's like, yeah, when we actually are able to look past what those boxes of worthiness and worth are, we can actually free ourselves to do a lot more in our lives, which I think is a good thing. I'm very happy when I see people create things and do things that make a person's life better. Not because they are the great martyr and sacrificer and hero and messiah and no, none of that bullshit. Just because you do something because it's a good thing to do, because you like doing it, because it makes you feel nice, because it makes other people feel better. Even if better means recognizing pain they've hidden from themselves, that's the mark of success to me, whether or not people recognize it. And it's like, yeah, I keep doing this. I keep doing this. But I might open a t-shirt store. That might happen. Let's see. Shaina says, hi, Dr. B. I'm a Virgo rising and a Pisces moon, which feels like such a curse. I identify with the story of Cassandra, which was a psychic but cursed to never be believed. Well summarized, but I can understand that. Batwoman says, yes, etymology is my boo. Nice. Fist bump. Sky Blue says, Aquarius Sun, Scorpio Moon, Neptune, Gemini rising. Sheena says, appreciating the company for performing the childhood magic for my loved ones. I'm always grateful for the gifts you share. You are most welcome. Tell your babies to say hi. China and says, happy birthday or early birthday. I forget. It's 23rd. It's 23rd. Sharon says, preach, Dr. B. Doing my best. Doing my best. But I hope next year I will. This is something I do hope for. I mean, I am an ambitious person in the sense that I have very large goals, but they're not like make $1 billion and have 10 yachts. No, that's not my goal. But my goal would be like, yes, I want to create something good with good people. For me that's large because my standards are very high. But and I'm hoping that I'm going to, and I'm already starting to find the right people that I can actually share the work with in different ways. It's so easy for someone in my position to position myself as an occult and esoteric teacher, give you a couple of snippets of things and say, yes, the rest is a deep mystery, go and figure it out yourself. I could do that, but I also find that it's important to actually give people physical tools to help them come back to themselves. And, it's so easy to convince yourself that something is so much more important when you say how esoteric it is. But literally, magic, spirit, life, transformation, it happens in your everyday reality. You don't have to go out there to do something you can do right here and now. So I'm hoping that, I can find more people to co create that sense of magic with in a way that's real, in a way that's humble, in a way that's grounded, in a way that, people can actually reach and access. Because this is one of the things I really like about this community is that it's not people who are living that stereotypical 9 to 5 job or life. And even if they do, they're kind of like Clark Kenting it a bit. But it's about people who can actually see that there is a larger world that we see beyond the world what we see. There is a larger reality that exists. There are things that we need to do that go beyond this mainstream programming, and that's what I like. And I like the fact that people who feel unrepresented, people who feel unacknowledged, people who feel like they don't have a voice or a space where they can find someone who says, hey, you're not crazy. There are a few times where I will honestly say, hello honey, no, this is not spirit, this is a mental issue, you need to go get help. There are very few times where I would say that, because a lot of the times when people talk about this stuff, they get shut down. You're imagining it, it's just your psyche playing tricks on you. Whereas in my life, I have seen literal physical events that I could not have made happen unless I do have superpowers that are that direct. So, I like the fact that people who are aware that there is a larger reality come here and they feel validated, and that's a nice thing. And then they know that there are other people who are doing the same thing in different ways. And just knowing that you are not alone is one of the biggest blessings that you can have. because there's so many times I'm like, should I be doing this? Do I have the right to do this? Is this okay? There's so many times in my life where I have thought that a lot of people would like to project this veneer of unshakable confidence on me when anyone who has ever seen me before a big event or big presentation knows I'll be a complete anxious mess. But the moment I actually have to open my mouth and do the work, then everything's okay. But there's a human process to it. It's easy to go, oh no, but she's got everything figured out. No, she doesn't. She's figuring it out along the way, just like everybody else. But that's that's what I would say. Now, one thing I do want to do, as part of next year, because I also want things to be affordable. And you know me, if I could do all of this for free and magically deal with whatever financial situation I am in, I would, but I can't. So what I hope to do is I hope that I can start the tier 5 program, which, yes, you heard me right, it's a tier 5 program, next year, which will be a very super condensed version of Tier 23, where you will have, kind of like astrological bullet points and so on and so forth. I am hoping that I will have the energy to do it. For about 5 months of this year, I could not walk. That is how bad things have been. So I've just not had the energy to do. So, I hope next year I can also do that to make things more affordable. Still keep Tier 23 for those of you who want to get really deep with things, but have a tier 5 program for people who just want the astrological basis touched. And we'll keep doing what we normally do on YouTube anyway, because that's important. Let's see. Visa says Sag Sun, Cancer Moon, Scorpio Rising, Libra Venus. Nice, nice. V Stormfeld Witch, Taurus Gemini Sun, Virgo Moon, Scorpio Rising, coming up on Pisces Aquarius Saturn return. I'm trying to decode these emojis. That's why I'm like, Sky Blue says, do you know Arundhati Roy? Not personally, but I certainly know of her. Hi there says, I think you do have superpowers called love. I would agree with that one. That one, yes. Yes, I think we do. I think we all do. I just kind of focus on mine a bit more because honestly, that's the kind of thing that's the only thing that's really got me through anything. It's love. It is. For me, it's love for spirit, love for the planet, love for my child, my niece, love for my brother, love for myself. And it's like though that's the kind though love for myself is the one I'm working on the most. That one I'm slowly doing it, slowly getting there. But that's what I would live by. To me, that is the highest and most noble and most virtuous, whatever words you want to use. For me, it comes to love. You gotta love something to do something. If you don't love something, if you don't love someone, you're not gonna do anything. If people don't love themselves, their children they've never met, baby bears in forests and fish in the sea, they're not going to do anything about this planet. I think love is one of the biggest superpowers that we all need to activate and understand that love is not just words and pretty ideas. Love is an action. And if we do not act on love, we will not have anything. We will have the veneer of love. We will have the glamour of love that is a narcotic in and of itself, but it will not be transformative. But that's what I would say. You know, that's what I would say. I agree with Hi there. You says, do you take on mentorship? I would like to. It's just that I am very dedicated at things. And if I want to help someone, I'll throw all of my resources into it. And that's not good for me either. If I can figure out a way to mentor someone without overdoing, again, Virgo moon, very nurturing, that's why I have to keep a bit of a distance. But if I find a way of doing that that's sustainable, I'd certainly consider it. Joyous Day says, do you think the 7-year cycles of life development make sense? Every 7 years the body renews itself. I would honestly say, energetically speaking, I would say it's probably a 9-year cycle. I mean, energetically, numerologically, I mean, I don't know where they came up with that number. Maybe it is 7 years, but My feeling is that it's probably 9. And Haida says, and love isn't a weakness, it's a badass spirit ninja. Agreed. Batwoman of Gotham says, Cab-ass spirituality. Agreed. Tree Essence says, Taurus Sun, Leo Moon, Libra Rising, happy birthday and holidays. Happy, happy. Ace Lamar says, Hi, Dr. B. I'm a Cap Sun, Aquarius Moon, Sag Rising. This year has been great for the most part. However, this month has been a little challenging for me. Understood. Sending love, light, and prosperity to all. Thank you very much. We Felt, which says emojis decoded correctly. Yes! Thank you, thank you. Gemini Julie says, nice name, by the way. Greetings, dear one. The seeds you planted in me for my process continue to bloom for our family. Oh, thank you. You are most welcome. I'm so happy that this work has brought me into contact with so many nice people. I mean, I care about most of my clients. Even if they think I'm a hard ass, which I am, when it comes to the work. But I care about my clients. I will remember someone even if I spoke to them, 7 years ago. I'll be like, you had this issue. They'll be like, yes. I said, yeah, okay, talk. But I meet a lot of good people. I meet a lot of good people who try. And for me, putting an effort, a real effort, is more important than attaining something. Because if you're willing to stick to an effort, if you're willing to commit yourself to the process of transformation and change, you're already doing so much more than a lot of people. So, I appreciate the people who come to me. I appreciate all the little babies who show up in sessions. Sometimes their moms will be a bit hesitant, but the baby will literally grab the camera and be like, hi. I'll be like, hello. So I'll be saying something like, okay, you're Pluto in this, and then be like, oh, hello, hi, how are you? Yeah, that has happened a lot. The same with baby animals. They will come running for sessions. Little babies, doggies, kitties. I remember my favorite cat, or rather, the cat of a client, my favorite client cat. I was telling their parent what they had been saying the whole time, because I'm an animal communicator as well. Not something I expected I'd be doing, but here we are. And the cat was so happy that I believe his name, and I think they won't mind me saying it. His name is Spartacus. So Spartacus sticks his butt right in the camera to show me how happy he is. I was like, "Thank you, Spartacus." So yeah, I meet a lot of good people, a lot of good animals, a lot of good beings in general. Sometimes talk to some trees as well. But that's the good part of it. That's a good part of this work. It's that community, it's that network. And that's, I hope it grows. I hope it grows. I know that I will get what I need to resolve my own personal situation so that I can actually do this work in a happier and healthier way. So it'll come. It'll come. It's going to come. I know it. I know it. Delphina Soul says, sending love, happy solar return. I'm also 23, but June. High five. Sky Blue says, it is said all cells in our bodies regenerate every 7 years. I've heard the same thing as well. I've heard it too. I don't know how it tallies with the 9 cycles, but I really don't know. Indigo says, we love and care about you as well and appreciate all you do. Thank you. Karen says, thank you for all you do. You're most welcome. Samantha says, love from Kleb, Sabina, and me. Oh, Kleb and Sabina are cats. Okay. Batwoman says, my cat loves watching your lives with me and falls asleep to your voice. Oh, that's so nice. That is so nice. Rosie Cutie says, so Cap Sun, Cancer Rising, Aries Moon. I hear you. It's been such a challenging year. I hear you. Karina says, oh my God, Spartacus is my favorite movie. Joyous Day says, we love you back, Dr. B. Happy birthday. Mine was yesterday. Happy belated birthday. Sending you lots of love. Sag Sun, Cap Rising, Gemini Moon. Shina and says, here's to a healthy 2022. Saturn return in sixth fields. Oh, understood, understood. Here's to a healthy 2022. We are going to need it. So having said that, I'm going to go log off. I'm going to make my acacia wreath from my Tasmanian blackwood that sprouted mysteriously and has grown to a very tall tree in a year. So I'm going to go make my acacia wreath and try and celebrate Yule in a happy aligned way, doing the best I can. So take care. Very many blessings to all of you. Hopefully, I'll get the chance to see some of you next year. I believe I do need to wander around for a bit. I know my baby is going to be looking at me like this. Mommy, why? She does that. Even when I go to the shop and she's in the car, she gets pissed. So I have to go to shop so she can see me going inside so she knows, okay, that's where mommy is. That one is very attached. So, and it's fine. So hopefully I will get to see you. And all of you, or some of you at the very least, next year. Let's see. Batwoman says, have an amazing birthday week. Thank you. Adrian says, much love, Dr. B and fam. Thank you. Ethel says, thank you. You're most welcome. We storm felt with just your brain and heart cells are amitotic. Interesting word. The ones you're born with, the ones you die with, sans special situations. Understood. Sheena says, have a beauty day. Thank you for everything. Karen says, thank you and very much blessings to you as well. And to all of you, lots of love. I don't know if I'm going to do a live for my birthday, but I'll definitely do one for Christmas with the cats in the cat hats. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, enjoy the solstice. Lots of love to everyone. And let's hope for a better, and let's make a better 2022 happen. Let's make a better 2022 happen. So, cha cha for now. Bye bye.